And thanks for leading it.
Thank you, Madden's done a great job.
We appreciate the Scholars Academy and what you've done to make it possible, but certainly the opportunity that you provide our students. So thank you for allowing us to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, you ready to ask questions?
Yeah. So the first question is, why did you start Mayor Scholars Academy?
I think the main reason was that we were really interested in college preparation, getting students ready to apply for college and to be ready to attend college. And we felt that if we could have more intensive focus during the summer on math and on English, that would be helpful for testing, but also for preparing you for the next grade. So it's really supposed to build on itself each year. You add another class. But the main goal was to increase the number of students within the metro school system who are going to college. That was the main focus.
Okay.
How do you feel about the progress made in Mayor Scholars Academy during the past few years?
I think it's been good. I mean, it's a lot of work that people in my office do, and I'm very happy that they do it. It's been something that has grown. There's been changes in some of the schools that have been involved, but I think it's a good thing to offer students in Nashville. And I'm always really excited to see the number of students who want to, I mean it's voluntary, you're not forcing people to go, who want to give up part of their summer to be in school and to position themselves to do better in school and to position themselves to go to college. So I'm very happy with the progress. I'd like to see it expand. That's more than anything else.
Most of us at Cambridge MSA go to school in Antioch.
Mm-hmm.
What are some plans for developing our community?
Well, actually, we probably have done more work in the Antioch area than any other part of the city. I mean, if you look at Hickory Hollow Mall, the old mall, I mean, the city bought a big portion of that, and we're in the process, and we'll open this year a new regional library, we'll open a park, we'll open a community center, and we're doing a unique partnership with the Nashville Predators to open a skating rink there. So there'll be ice there, so people can play hockey, figure skate, do whatever. But all of that is a big investment there. We've built schools in that part of the county, and we've built fire stations. So we have put actually a lot of money into that area.
So tell us about your college journey. What was it like going through college and all that,
Well, I graduated from high school in 1974, so I am by far the oldest person in this room. So it's a long time ago. But I grew up in a small town in Massachusetts where it was interesting because we had, our high school sort of had 3 tracks you could take. There was a business track, there was an industrial track, and there was a college track. And I don't know whether a third of each of the student body fell into each of those categories, but the industrial track was sort of like you go to work after you graduated from high school. It was industrial arts, woodworking, things like that. My hometown was a city that's famous for chairs. You're sitting in a chair that was made in Gardner, Massachusetts, the chair town, USA. And the business track was kind of, I think it was more secretarial accounting. I'm sure a lot of the kids who went to the business track maybe ended up going to a community college or college later, but that also sort of prepared you to enter the workforce. And then there was the college track, they called it, which meant that in theory you were going to apply to college. And so I was in the college track. And because of my parents, because of just, I assumed I was going to go to college I guess since I can remember. My mother didn't, my dad did. I think he was the first member of our family who went to college. And so I assumed that I was, and studied in high school as if I was going to. I went to Columbia University in New York City. That's the only school I applied to, and loved it. It was a great experience for me, and it was a real privilege to be able to go there. But I enjoyed college a lot. In the good way.
So, what was your major in college?
Political science, history, that sort of. I mean, I always had an interest in government. I always had a strong interest in history. That was probably what I was best at in high school, and I had an interest, and so that's what I took in college. And Columbia was a great place for that. And I think my degree was probably in political science. I took a lot of history courses too. And then I went to law school straight out of college.
What was your most embarrassing moment in high school?
Oh, boy, I'm sure there were many. Probably the most painful one, I'm sure, is probably asking some girl out on a date and being told no. It's always hard to, think of the response when someone says that. Like good decision, good job.
Yeah. Way to say no to me.
I mean, that's got to be. I mean, I was happy kid. But I assume it's something like that. I mean, I didn't fall asleep and miss the SATs or anything like that. But it'd be something social like that. But every painful thing that can happen to a kid, I'm sure happened to me.
Okay. Do you have any regrets from your educational experience?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I regrets about everything in life. I mean, the sense that, this is a guy who's, pushing 60 can say this. You look back at things, and no matter what you've done, you always wish you'd done more. And, an example would be going to Columbia, to New York City. I mean, I think I worked hard in college. I did a lot in New York City. I very consciously made an effort to see things and do things that you could only see in New York. But looking back on it now, there's so much more I could have done. I wish I'd done more with art museums. I wish I'd taken more. You're required to take an art history course there. I wish I had taken more art history, because what a great place that would be to do that, because you have all this museums, all these world-class professors. And I didn't do that. I wish I had done more with the history of the city when I was living there. I wish I had mastered a language. I mean, I've taken, I've had language requirements all through high school and then in college, taken language courses, and I cannot speak any other language than English. And so that's a big regret. I wish I had done that. I mean, how much richer would my life have been if I could be fluent in another language? But I'm not. My reflections on all that is, looking back on it, is that time goes by really quick, no matter where you are in life and what you're doing, and that you should take advantage to what's given you and learn as much as you can, because you're going to regret not doing it later. And so just live life to its fullest. That's mine. And so I think, like any person, I look back on any given period of time in my life and think, boy, I could have done more.
Why was the college experience important for you, and why is it important for us?
The college experience?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, college can be a lot of different things. It can be, but what I think it is, in just real practical terms, is a door that you have to go through to be able to do a lot of things in life. I think even more so now than when I was your age, college is almost essential for certain types of employment, for certain types of success in life. And so if you look at it just in a real pragmatic, practical way, college is critical to having a successful and complete life. To be in a position where you can do the things that you want to do in your life. I mean, you can be happy and be a great person and be a smart person and never go to college. Well, I'm not saying you have to, but if you want to be in a position where you're going to get this job or earn this income or provide this for your family, college is an enormous part of it, and it's getting bigger all the time. But college is also, and we lose track of this, and I think one of the things that I benefited from, I hope when I was in college, is I really believe that getting an education is a good thing in and of itself. I mean, becoming familiar with the world, understanding history, understanding political science or science, understanding literature, arts, astronomy, whatever, that in and of itself is an important thing to being a well-rounded, happy person. And college helps you get that done.
Did you plan to be in politics when you were our age?
Well, I can tell you when I was your age, I did not think I was going to be the mayor of Nashville. I've always been interested in government work and in public affairs, and so I thought I would be interested in it, and maybe. I mean, I didn't have a definite plan, and it's witnessed by the fact I grew up in Massachusetts, went to college in New York, live in Tennessee. I've moved around a little bit, so I think what got me into politics was I worked here as a public defender, worked here as a city's attorney. I really enjoyed the work. I enjoyed working for the city. I felt like it was meaningful. It had sort of an intrinsic value where you're doing something that's important, and I think it's intrinsically interesting. And so when the time came where this job was open, I felt, I was at an age, about 50, that either now or never, and so I ran and was fortunate to be elected. But I've always had an interest in politics, but not any master plan going back years and years.
Do you have to wear suits every day, or is there sometimes that you don't have to?
I don't have to wear them every day. I do wear suits, probably clearly Monday through Friday. I mean, it's just part of it's a uniform. You have to put the uniform on, go to work. As a lawyer, I always did, and when I was a lawyer, I particularly when I was public defender, I felt it was really important to appear like you were a lawyer, that you were doing your job, and you gave sense to your clients that they were getting a full-fledged lawyer who wears a suit and is fully engaged. Mm-hmm. And then the nature of this job is, you have a lot of meetings, you do a lot of public appearances, and so I don't really get a casual day where I know I'm not going to go to court or I'm not going to see anybody. I mean, there may be a TV interview or an appearance I have to make, and I don't know about it till a half an hour before it happens. But like on the weekend, I don't wear suits unless I'm doing something. I mean, I probably wear a suit once or twice every weekend because I go to a meeting or speak somewhere. But when I go out to the grocery store or when I go out just to live my life, I'm just like anybody else. Too hot to wear a suit.
Speaking of suits, I love your tie, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Roosters.
Also, if you could just start with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Well, I think it would be what I had sort of alluded to before. I think, number one, I wouldn't lose track of the fact that learning is fun. We, society, put a lot of pressure on you all to succeed, to take tests and do well, to get admitted to schools, to follow a track along a path that leads to being able to support yourself and your family. And that's all important and it's all very serious. But I do think when you're in this environment now where you get to learn, there is a value in learning just to learn. Why are we here? Why, what is the right way to live a life? What is culture? What about my history of our country is interesting? What about the history of the world is interesting? Where are we going? I mean, you have that opportunity to kind of think these big thoughts, and it's part of being educated. So I wouldn't ever lose track of the fact that education in and of itself, beyond the financial benefits, beyond where it leads to you in terms of your jobs, and education is worthwhile in and of itself. And then my other advice would be live life to its fullest. I mean, one of the things about this job, I remember I was talking to somebody, I was actually the deputy mayor, shortly after I got elected, and he said, this is going to go by so fast. And he's right. I mean, this time has just flown by, and that's the way it is with all life. So do everything to your best and pursue things. Take risks. Don't be afraid to fail. It's not failure. It means you tried something, didn't work out, but you learned something from the experience, and be a person who puts yourself out there. That's my humble advice, which I don't always follow. But.
Our schools have lots of opinions on standard school attire. Where do you stand on SSA?
Well, I don't have a firm position on it, but let me say this, that I certainly would defer to the leadership in the schools as to what they think is best. You know, when I grew up, again, I was in high school like from 70 to 74, and that was not a time when there were a whole lot of rules. Even in my little town, there were not a whole lot of rules of how to dress. But there are photographs of how people dressed. And we dressed very poorly. The fashion in the 70s was embarrassing then, and it's embarrassing now, and unfortunately there are photographs of it. And I wish somebody had said that, you know, you didn't need to wear bell-bottoms, but I did. I wish someone had said you had a uniform to wear instead of what I wore. So there's a freedom that comes from not having to worry about how you dress when you go to school. And there's also, I think, benefits that come from being able to have kids concentrate in terms of their resources, not on buying clothes, but on other things that are more important. And if there's benefits that come from having a more orderly school, that's a good thing. I certainly respect the idea that people should have some freedom of expression, but I do think it's important that that we leave those decisions to the school leaders.
Probably have time for one last question.
All right. What accomplishments in your life are you most proud of?
Well, I mean, the one that I'd say my family. I mean, you know, just my wife and kids. That's clearly the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. What about other than family, like in regards to like what you've done in your career so far? I mean, I know you became mayor, but like, what else are you?
You know, I think being mayor is a great job, and I would advise any of you to run for mayor. In fact, you all ought to begin plotting your campaigns. Get a leg up on everybody. It's a wonderful job because you get to do things for a city you love that make a difference, and you actually can see the impact. I mean, you don't win all the battles. I've lost more than my share, and you don't get everything you want, but you move the ball forward. You improve a place that is already very good, and you feel like you're actually helping people. And so that's been a great honor to be the mayor of a great city. There's lots of things we've done. Probably the work here that we've done with education, the library specifically, means the most to me. But I'm proud of the convention center. I'm happy we're doing a baseball stadium. I'm happy we've done a lot of environmental work and so on. But I was also proud of being a public defender. I mean, that was the key. I mean, that's a great job too, because not everybody understands what public defenders do. They represent poor people accused of crimes. But when I did that job, and I never thought about being a public defender when I was younger, but when I did that job, I fell in love with it and did it for 16 years. And I felt every day I helped somebody. And it was interesting. You'd go to court, you'd learn a lot, but I felt I was helping people. And it was a great job. So I'm proud of doing that, and I think it was a really good office that we built.
Can I do one more question?
Sure. he's got a future in media.
Just one more.
What do we have to do to get a job in the mayor's office?
Well, in the mayor's office, we don't have a lot of paid internships and things like that. I mean, sometimes in the past there have been, but since the recession in particular, things have been relatively tight. But we always have interns here. And so the way we get interns is people express an interest and then they're serious about it. We generally work with them. So we would encourage you to think about that. Hopefully, one of the things I'm excited about in this year's budget, we have money in there for high school students to have access to free transportation, bus passes, where you can do it to school, you can take them to work, you can take them wherever you want to go in the city. You're free to move about the city of Nashville. And so one thing I hope happens is that more students are in a position to actually do internships or have jobs, because you can use the buses to get around and do different things. But that's going to start. I'm excited about that one. That's going to, hopefully you all. I mean, we need transit solutions in Nashville. We need to build up a group of citizens who understand transit. So we're counting on you.
So the mayor's gonna go next door to his conference room and tape a message to all of our scholars about what you guys have been able to accomplish this year. So if we're not under a tight time frame, I'll let him go ahead and get set up in there, and then I'll escort you guys around, and you can kind of watch how that part goes. It's kind of a
Is there a way we can take a picture either now or later?
sure. You want
Can
to
do it right now?
Yeah,
I want to take a picture.
I'll take it of you guys. I don't need to be in the picture.
Alright, this is on,
I'll
here,
take a
why don't you
selfie, too.
pull out your camera, cause mine is on manual. My automatic is not working very well, so, do you wanna pull out your camera? Oh, yeah, cause mine's on.
You wanna do it out here in front of the natural
That would be
picture?
lovely.
Good idea.
Just cause it's not gonna be pointing to you right now.